Well, may not have quite been in line with our pre-match predictions, but at the halfway stage, it was looking like India could have perhaps got to 130, 140, but Zaheer Khan was crying out for a good push and to get to about 165, 170. Well, they've pretty much done that. 169 is what India have got to for 6 wickets in 20 overs, well over 100 in the back 10, and all thanks to the champion finisher, Dinesh Karthik. Yes, the man who a long time ago, when India played their first ever T20 international, guess who against? South Africa at the Wanderers, was the player of the match. He's brought back those memories, the opposition, different conditions, of course, in terms of being at Rajkot, but that's where he's done it. Here on Cricbuzz Live, we're just looking back at the first 20 overs of the match. I'm going to come to Joy Bhattacharya first. Joy, interesting one, because he did that at the Wanderers. I remember because I was sitting there in the dugout with the team. It was new times for us. But the stadium he's at right now, which is, of course, the one in Rajkot, has one stand completely modelled on a stand at the Wanderers. So, in a sense, he hasn't gone too far away.
He hasn't gone too far away. What an innings. I mean, you look at him. He's batting of 15th over is over. It's 96 for 4. India, he's batting of 6 of 8 balls. And then the next over is when he starts pressing the accelerator. I think it was Pretorius' was the next over, or was it Nokia? And he just goes completely berserk. 73 in the last 5, and really the way he and Hardik attacked, it was absolutely fantastic to watch.
Yeah, it certainly was. It's been a day of some amazing hitting. For those of you who may not have followed the Netherlands taking on England, 498 scored in an ODI. Not quite that range of hitting, Zaheer, but nonetheless, that's the kind of hitting that must have happened with the Hardik-Dinesh Karthik partnership.
Well, it was required. We were talking about the same similar kind of a thing, at the Combox. That for Indian team to right now look at this game, because it's a very important game. If you lose the game, you're going to lose the series. So a lot is at stake, and keeping all those factors in mind, you have to value this partnership in that light. And for Indian team to get to the total right now from there, they can fight. We were talking about around 170, so they got exactly that. I think 170 just about par on this track, and this partnership was the crucial one for Indian team to get there and put enough runs on board which can put the South African batting under pressure and level the series. So that's something which was very important. So at this point, you can say that the momentum is with the Indian team for sure, because 10 overs you're looking at around 56, and to get to 170 from there was going to require a hell of a task, and these two managed to do that for the Indian team.
Well, I know I was referring to that first ever T20 international. The world has come a long way since. That was 2006. We hadn't even had a T20 World Cup. India went and won the first one. And then now, so many years later, a man who was pretty much in oblivion, Joy, finds his mojo in the IPL, comes out and says openly he'd like to wear the India blue again. Wears the India blue, India 2-1 down in the series, and shows why he said what he said.
Yeah, and right in the beginning, he wasn't looking the only batsman who looked set from ball 1 was Hardik. It wasn't as if Karthik was looking, but the way he quickly adapted to conditions, tried slog sweep, didn't work, mistimed it a couple of times. Then he just got it, and that 1 over, that 16th over onwards, he just went into the offensive. And I think that's the one thing that he does very well. When he's in form, he finds gaps in the field. And I thought Hardik was absolutely brilliant. Hardik was the only one who looked from ball 1 like the kind of player who could score on this pitch. And that's very rare, because everyone else, you're seeing these batsmen saying these are good batsmen, they struggled. All the rest struggled. Hardik was the only guy, before Dinesh Karthik went completely berserk in the end, who gave that Indian team that push. And he was absolutely fabulous. He timed his innings to a T. When Karthik got going, he was happy to take the single, give him the strike. They worked beautifully together.
Well, I think we'll come back to Hardik because I want to get Zaheer on Dinesh Karthik individually. Of course, the oldest T20I 50 hitter now. It's his maiden T20I 50. A lot of people wondering, really? And then of course, the distinction between T20 and T20I. But yeah, let's remember, he's actually on loan from Cricbuzz Live. So it's not it's not that he was almost playing. He had to keep reminding us, Zaheer, when he was on the show, guys, I still actually play the game. I've got practice this evening.
I can tell you one thing, GB, that when you are at this stage in your career, uh, the basics of the game you're just enjoying, and not really the pressure. So you've pretty much look at your career when you take this route, right? Like, and I'm talking about the broadcasting route, and the expert panel route. You know that pretty much you've done whatever you had to do right throughout your career. Now whatever you get is you want to explore the different avenues and stuff. And when you are going back on the field, you're just enjoying the game in the most purest form of the game. So you're, because the pressure is out. You have, yes, that, okay, I want to make a comeback. I want to play for Indian team again, and all those aspirations are still there. But the pressure of pure expectations, from yourself, and others' expectations of you is relatively less, I would say. And that's where you start to enjoy the game more. And that's something which is seen with Dinesh Karthik, and that's something which seen with a lot of other cricketers who have been through this phase. And that includes me as well. So towards the end of my career, when I was just playing IPL, and was not playing much domestic cricket, not playing international cricket. In fact, I had announced my retirement from international cricket, and doing all these other things as well. The fact that you're back out there on the field, it gives you a different kind of a rush. It just makes you very happy, and that happiness brings the performances out. I think with Dinesh Karthik, somewhat that has happened. He's in his mind, in a way, I decided that, okay, what is next for me? Cricket, yes, that's my love, that's my passion, but what is next for me? And he had taken his journey there, commentating and doing all these other things, but also understands that, okay, if IPL is that an option, am I still enjoying playing IPL cricket, the franchise cricket? The answer to him was yes. And so he said, okay, fine, I'll play that. Then what comes next? Do I have a chance of or enough cricket left in me, you think, which can make an impact at the highest level? The answer was yes. So so he was very vocal about it, and he set that as a goal, as a goal. And the fact that he's achieved it, it's great. So that's going to give him even more satisfaction. The fact that he's performing well now, it's going to give him the happiness possibly which he didn't even get when he first time played cricket. So I mean, it's a different kind of happiness is what I'm trying to say. So something which you should enjoy, and I'm sure if you ask him, he's also going to say the same thing, that it's a happiness which was very hard to express, but very pure in nature.
I'm so glad Zaheer brought himself up as an example, because had he not done that, I would have asked that as a follow-up question. So you summed it up absolutely perfectly, because we remember Zaheer getting back on the field in Delhi, and it was such a refreshing sight because that enjoyment was there. But just to finish off the show on Hardik Pandya, you briefly started. He sort of played a combination role of what he used to play, say, for Mumbai or even India, and what he played for Gujarat in this winning thing. He had to do a little bit of innings building and then the finisher. So there were two Hardiks out there today.
No, absolutely. And how very few batsmen can do both so well. And the other interesting thing is, if before this IPL, you would have said that, okay, there's going to be a South Africa series, and two of your top batsmen are going to be Dinesh Karthik and Hardik Pandya, what would you have even given for the chances of both of them being in the team? Let's be honest. People said that if Hardik doesn't bowl, he doesn't have a chance. Dinesh Karthik was not in the reckoning at all. And just to see these Cinderella cricketers come back roaring in the IPL and come out here and at least give India a fighting chance in this match, that's what cricket is all about. That's where it's so exciting.
Yeah, so at least I'm glad, since Joy said it's a Cinderella cricketer, that we are starting the match half an hour early, because a 7:30 or an 8 o'clock start, Joy, gets you very close to midnight. That's not a good news.
Not if you're Cinderella.
Not at all. Quickly to assess this total, Zaheer, 169. Obviously, in context of the game, where India were, it's a fantastic total. In isolation, maybe it feels like 10 runs or 15 runs short. But as you said, is the key word, the momentum here? I know we don't like the word, but India have to use it here.
I think it's a very good total. Considering the way innings started, it's even better to look at this kind of a total, because at 10 over mark, you wouldn't have given this sort of prediction of total. So so that is something which is very important. New ball is going to be key. There is no doubt about it. You've seen when South African bowlers started, there is extra bounce, and there is something in for the fast bowlers with the new ball. So that's something which is going to be key, going to be the key. You'll have to see what kind of tactics Rishabh also uses, because last game we saw that there was help from the spinners, and he brought the spinners on. He bowled about 6 overs of spin in the first 10 overs. Is it that kind of a day which he has to really quickly assess and not really fall into the trap of what worked for me in the previous game is going to work for me here? So quickly assessing the situation, taking a lesson from what has worked for South African bowlers, maybe use extra seam in the first 10 overs and take advantage of that, because I felt that till the time ball was new and hard and the seam was prominent, there was something for the seamers. So make use of that, create the early inroads, build pressure on the middle order, because South African middle order has been coming to their rescue. So you don't want that. You want those early wickets for sure, but also make sure that this middle order partnership is not happening for South Africa.
All right, Joy, while you think about a power play prediction, I want a one-word answer, Zaheer, from you. Power play, spin in the power play, yes or no, this time around?
No, for today's game, I think there is enough for the seam bowlers. So I think continue with seam.
All right, continue with seam. Just as he had said in the earlier game, 2-2-2. Only reason Bhuvi had got 3 is because he was bowling a dream spell that day. Joy, 6 over mark for South Africa with Quinton de Kock back.
I think I'm going to go low, because I think they're bowling well, and they're bowling in the sticks. They're not giving too much width at all. I'm going to go right down to 37. Tight.
I'm going to go a little bit higher to 42, Zaheer. So I'm leaving the field wide open for you.
I think 38. 38 is something which I'm thinking. 38 is a good number.
All right.
Joyda said 36.
37, you're 38.
Oh, perfect.
All right. Oh, this is going to be a proper contest. There's no room for maneuvering there. That's the kind, Joy, when Zaheer used to bowl, if there's this much gap between bat and pad, he'd find a way through.
Yeah. Or sitting out there in the studio and sniffing the air and saying they're using the light roller out there today.
That's a different matter. And because he talked about his playing days and enjoying it, I had to think of Zaheer, the bowler that we remember. Give him a little gap. He'll take it. Stumps disturbed. Bye-bye. The familiar celebration. Wow, we love it. All right, that's all we have on the show on Cricbuzz Live. We're going to be back in 10 overs and Cricbuzz Combox. How well is the chase going? If it's not going well, we know we're heading for 2-all, and that's what we all want. A fabulous series going to Bengaluru, all square. From Joy, Zaheer, and myself, that's all. We'll see you in about 9.5 hours time.